All right, awesome. So, yesterday we went over strings. Today we're going to talk about arrays, an old-time friend from the JavaScript workshop. Good news is there's a lot of similarities between strings and arrays, and they're super important. Like Celine emphasized, definitely keep practicing these. Try to make these problems. I've seen that deval problem that we did, like as a practice, like in mock interviews and things. So like we're getting closer to some real problems that you might see out there. But yeah, for your first job in the tech industry, there's a good chance that the coding question that they ask you to do is some type of string or array manipulation question. So these are super good to be very comfortable with and make sure they feel natural. So anyway, arrays. First one, let's create a list of what we want to do. So we've got arrays. So what are they? Also want us to be able to do length properties. So properties, i.e. length. I want us to be able to index into them. Index and modify. Methods push, pop, unshift, and shift. And let's see if there's anything else I'm going to touch on. I know if you read ahead, it's like a very long, but I think it's too much to absorb in one shot. So we'll do like the first half this morning, do the lab, and then hopefully touch on some of the other things after. But since we already talked about slice, I'm going to keep that because we did that in strings. And we can also talk about join. And I think that's pretty much everything that we should talk about in the morning. Questions on this, on the game plan? All right, so these are the goals. If you know these by the end of this lecture, killing it. All right, so first off, what is an array? Does anybody know? Yeah, Rob?
An array is an assortment of products that are held within like a parentheses or variables. It could be a list of strings. It could be many words or many numbers.
Okay, great. So essentially, it's a collection of stuff inside square brackets. And separated by commas. By the way, I just recently learned how to remember how to spell separate. There's a rat in separate. So if you struggle with spelling like I do, maybe that will help. Yeah?
Does it have to be like all one thing, like all numbers or all strings, or is it like string number?
Nope, anything. So it's a great question. So Samantha says, hey, does it have to be all one thing? So let's see an array. So I'll say I'll just do ARR, short. Right, I've now created an array with square brackets. All right, this is an empty array. She's asking if it can have lots of things. So we could have, blueberry, 13, another empty array, right? Is that okay? Yes, that is a legal array. That said, you want to have your array be consistent. Okay, if an array is essentially like a data structure that's holding data. Okay, you can think of it that way. And so if it has a mixture of things inside of it, that's kind of bad data, right? So this wouldn't be that useful. This is like having a box in your house with just like tons of different things. It's like you'd have to already know what's in there instead of like having a nice box for numbers and a nice box for your scissors and a nice box. I mean, hopefully you get the idea. Ashia?
Like when
Well, sure. I mean, we have the built-in method type of, which we've used. Do you remember that one? It's like down here. If I go into node, right? I could say type of, and I could have blueberry, and we see that that's a string. And I could do type of 13. See, that's a number. So like, we'd have all these if-else, but really, if you're trying to take apart an array, something's already gone wrong. Maybe you can't help it because you've gotten the data from somewhere else, but if it's our data at all, we definitely shouldn't do that. Okay, so we want to stay consistent. So let's just make a note. Okay, so let's say we have our array here, and I'm going to call it, I'm actually going to call it fruits, B-A-N-A, N-A, banana, I'll say kiwi, I'll throw in cherry, and call this fruit. All right, so this is our array. This is our fruits array. So it's a collection of things, right? It's aptly named. Okay, so this is essentially, like, there's not too much. I think we'll get that one. Properties, so very much like the string, array also has a built-in length property. So if let me exit node here. I'm doing it all on one screen today. Didn't think of that before. All right, so if I do console.log fruits, save it, go down here, run it. Okay, that's our array, right? But then if I do fruits.length, we have that it has 4 items. Reasonable? Okay, I agree. All right, so, yeah, proceed.
Is someone who's doing links for not counting each character? It's actually counting what how many
Yeah, so each element in an array is separated by that comma. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be, remember, it doesn't have to be strings. It doesn't have to be numbers. It can be an array. It could be something called an object. It can be anything. So the world of characters only has to do with strings. So that's good news because that feels a lot like strings. Okay, what else do arrays have? Well, arrays have the index. So that's pretty nice too, right? So if I have an array, let array be like table, chair, plate. Right? They have also that hidden index or indices, and they also start at 0. So that's pretty great, right? So there's a lot of implications that come with this. What are some of the things we can think, already assume that we can do with arrays that we were doing with strings? Yeah, Patrick?
Just some ways of music, so you can like move things around, change it.
Move things around. Oh, we couldn't exactly move things around with strings though, right? But yeah, we can move things around with arrays. But like there's a connection, right? What did we use in? Yeah.
We can loop through it.
Yeah, we can loop through it, right? That's extremely powerful. As soon as you can loop through things, you have the ability to do things with the different elements and find things and change things, and add things, and right? If we can loop through this, well then, relatively easily, right? We could come up with the sum of an array. We could come with the product of an array. All of a sudden, it's the same. So let's see what I'm talking about. Just quick reminder: how do I get the first element in an array? 0, right? So it's the exact same way as I got the first character in a string. So right? We get our blueberry. So how am I going to get the last element in the array? Without hard coding, okay? Yeah, right? I can go fruits.length minus 1. Right, and now we've already got cherry. So there's a lot of crossover here. So if we're feeling good about strings, we should already be starting to feel okay about arrays. Right, that's the good news. Arrays are somewhat, today, a little bit, and improve like a review on strings. Okay, so we've got that. Any questions on that index? Okay, so let's talk about some of the differences now. So with strings, they were immutable, right? That meant they couldn't change. So we could change it temporarily, but then it would go back to the original string, unless we did a reassignment. Do we agree? Do we remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, an array is slightly different in the sense that I can reassign specific parts of the array. So let's see what I mean. I'll just go to fruits here. Okay, so if we wanted, like I no longer like blueberries because I'm going to target blueberries. I can say fruits at 0. And then I can reassign just that specific element at that index. So I can change blueberry to, we'll say, raspberry. Save it. And then down here, we can console log fruits. And we'll see that our fruits has changed. So we've actually modified the array. We've changed one specific index of it. So we've taken an element and replaced it with another. Questions on that? Okay. Great. Yeah.
Is there any way that you could specify to the previous row without a change?
What do you mean by specify?
Yeah, fruit 0, that changes the array previously. Is there any way that you can point, because since it's on line 2, is there any way that you can point to line 1 without a change?
No. It's been modified. I could have duplicated the array and then changed 1 and then looked at the original or something. But in this situation, no. Once I've altered it, that initial fruits is gone. Good question. Okay. So we've got index and modify. Those should feel somewhat familiar. I'm also going to talk about slice. I'm going to do slice next because that's also our string kind of review. So you can slice an array the same way as we slice a string. So in here I can go, tell me how I would write that.
Banana, if you want banana.
I want an array of banana and kiwi. Right? And think about how to apply it from the string. All right, clap once if you can hear my voice. Twice if you can hear my voice. All right, how did we do? Yeah, nah. Okay, did we try? Did everybody try something on their computer? Right? That's like huge. If you didn't try it, you won't be able to gain any access. Ashia.
I was able to get it, I just don't understand why I had to use that index. So I used index, I did console log fruits.slice, parentheses 1, 3. Originally I did 0, 3.
Okay.
And it gave me, for the first time it gave me raspberry, banana, kiwi. Then when I changed it to 1, 3, it gave me just banana and kiwi.
That's right. Yeah, so that's what we would expect. That's great. Let's talk about it, right? So remember how slice works. It's the same as the string. If you slice from an index, inclusive, to the ending index, exclusive, right? So if you do 0, Ashia, and you go from 0 to 1 here, or 0 to 2, you're going to grab that. But if you go from 1 to 2, you're going to grab that. It starts at the index, and is the first argument, and ends when it hits that other index in the second argument. So this is identical behavior. It's just we're picking up elements instead of individual characters. Right, so that's good news. That's like we already know. We should already feel like. I mean, I know we just learned it yesterday, so it's not like completely solidified yet. But the good news is like, hey, we already are kind of familiar with how this one works. Okay, so slice is going to work the same way. Right, slice still has the optional argument, so I could go like from 2 to the end if I just wanted kiwi, which is at the second index. I don't know if I saved, but yeah, I did. Right, that second argument is optional. If you don't put it in, it goes all the way to the end. What do you guys think will happen if I do 2, 2? Well,
So I'm gonna show, in this case, Q. Q.
kiwi, 2, 2 shows kiwi. Anyone else got a different guess? An error? Rafiq? An empty array? Okay, so we're all over the map, right? Well, let's think about it before we go. So 2, it says we would start here, right? And it says we would go up until there. Okay. So let's actually see. All right, it's going to give us an empty bracket because it doesn't include that last one. But all the guesses were great. We're thinking about how it might work, which is exciting. All right, so then let's take a look at, so we got a slice. The next one I want to go over is join, okay? So join is the cousin of split, right? So we remember when we did split on a string, we ended up with this array that had been broken into the specific chunks of where we split out. Right, quick review on that. So we had like a string, we say let string, and we had my dog has fleas, and then we've said console.log string got split, and we can split on the words, or split on the spaces to get the words, right? And so when we did that, we got this this array with the length of 4 indices 0, 1, 2, and 3 with those 3 words. Right? Should feel familiar. Okay, so if we wanted to put this array back together, we can use join. So let's do it with fruits. Here, we'll say fruits.join. You have to invoke join. It's a method on there. And then inside of join, we put the argument that we want things to join together. So if I do no space, like that, blueberry, banana, and all that. Hang on. Okay. Is that why you're raising your hand? Okay. Yeah, if I misspell something, just shout it. Because if it's a question, I might wait right till I finish. Which is just going to give me an error. Okay. Right? That's our output. It's all of the elements in the array squished together. That.
So what does it become? It's still an array, but it becomes a string.
Great question. Let's check it out. So we say type of string. So the string split turned it to an array. The array join turns it back into a string. It's the yin and the yang of the programming world. Sin.
Is there a way to join it, make it camel case?
You can't join on to make camel case. But, I mean, you can write a function or a block of code that would do that with that slice on the uppercase. Yeah, I don't think there's an option in this thing you can pass through. That's a cool question. Cool idea. Eric.
So if you change that it's kiwi for a number, it's going to change.
Yeah, great question. So he says if we have this nums array, and we make this nums, it's going to turn it into this string, right? This is not a number. This is not some giant number. This is a string. It's been split apart. It's a good question. All right, so go back to fruits. So if I didn't want them all joined kissing like that, how could I separate them into an actual readable sentence? Danielle? All right, so if I put a space in there, then everything gets joined by a space. Seems all right, right? This feels just like an inversion of split. Right? What's going to happen if I put a dollar sign in here? Henry?
The string is now, instead of the space, wherever the space was, is now complete $.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Money, money, money. You nailed it. Yeah, right? Blueberry, dollar, banana, dollar, kiwi, dollar. So whatever we put in there is what? It will be joined.
If you join with empty from the empty string, just blank. Pick out their addition to. That will also come around as a string too.
Yep, that will do it. That will also come as a string with commas. It's not super intuitive. I do not suggest doing that. If you want things to come as commas, I would really suggest going like that. Right? We want other people to know what the code is. We don't want to assume other people have the default value of join memorized. Yeah, Marvin. That would be cool. It does not. But I can show you what it does. It will nums we join that would be just gives us the string. I think this would actually work. It's pretty hacky. It's not a safe way to do it, But I think if you actually did like a val, then I think it might work. Then it works, but that's not really. That's like a val. Writing a val on your code is like pretty dangerous. If you, it's kind of like a security thing. Yeah, Brett.
Put another string inside there, like you want apple after every fruit or something.
Yeah, you want me to have apple in there? Sure. It would work the same with the fruits array. Yeah. Very readable. Okay. So usually the things you would be doing is an empty space or completely together. Those are going to be your most common. But that is join. Any other questions on join? All right. So join. This is just like the opposite of split. Cool. So then we get to 3 new methods, or 4, I can't count. 4 new methods that are unique to arrays. So these we'll have to memorize on our own, not related to strings, okay? The other ones we could kind of use strings to help us remember, or like, because I mean even join, right? You can still use the string because you're like split and join. And the rest were all essentially the same as strings, but these 4 are different. But don't worry, they're not too bad. So let's talk about push. Push is going to add an element into the end of the array. So what does that look like? Okay, so if we say fruits dot push, and we add raspberry, okay, and then we're going to console.log fruits. If we do that, we now get raspberry at the end. Okay, our length has been changed as well, right? It has mutated the array, has undergone a transformation. It is now 5 elements long, and it has raspberry in the array. Questions? Questions on that? You can push anything in there, and you can think of it as like you're pushing it in to the end. Yeah.
Is there a way to push it in between? Or you can only push towards the end?
Push, you can only push at the end. There is a way to put things inside of different parts of the array, which we'll probably cover later today, like this afternoon. Usually you don't really need to do that. This is something you'll need to do more often. So you're pushing it into the end of the array. Okay. Something to note, I don't want it to cause too much confusion, but I think it's important because this mistake happens a lot. If you console.log fruits.push, intuitively you would think it would give you back the array with the raspberry. It actually, the return value of this is the length of the array. Okay? That's like a JavaScript quirk to note. Is the return value of push is the length of the array. I'll write that down because it is a confusing thing. Return value of push is the length of the array. And then I'll say push mutates the array and adds 1 to the, and adds, how about, the argument to the Any questions on what push is doing? My point is, if you ever get a problem and you have to return something or log something that they want to add to the new array, you can't return the push. You have to return the line underneath the array because the push will give you a number. Okay. Let's talk about pop. Pop is the opposite of push. Right? You can think of it as a champagne bottle where you shake it up and then the cork pops out. Right? For pop, the last element of the array pops out. So if we say fruits.pop, console.log fruits, we'll see that it's now, why is that not clearing? Oh, it doesn't clear VS Code, yeah? We're not writing. So now we have our array without cherry. Yeah? Can you pop more than one, like at one shot? No. Not that I'm aware of. That's a great question. Right, so it takes off the last element, pops it off. So Amanda asks if you can pop more than one, like not at a time. If I wanted to pop two elements, I could go like that. Pop, pop. And then I can get rid of the kiwi. But I can't do it in one line. I should note that you actually can push more than one element in. That is a slight difference. Not something you use too often, but if I were to do fruits.push, and I did cat and dog, I'll comment out the pop right now. I'll get all those. Wait, hang on. Is it not working?
There might be an extra space between cat, comma, dog.
No. Maybe you can't. Is that right? Okay, well, I used to think you could. That's weird. All right, so ignore that. Ignore that for now. I'll look more into that because maybe something changed or I'm thinking of a different programming language. Okay. What, that you can add more than one thing for push? Let's see. Yeah. You should be able to. Okay, let me try again. That definitely shouldn't matter, but I'll do it. Interesting. Worked for a number. Oh, it did? Maybe something just funky was happening. You didn't put a space after you put a comma? Oh, there we go. Now it's working. That's like a glitch in the matrix. Woo. We got it recorded. Yeah.
For top, if you put something in the parentheses, will it tell you that instead of what's at the end?
Nope. Not too bad, right? But no. Good question, though. It's all at the end. Push and pop are all dealing at the end of the array. So you can push more than one element in at the same time, and they'll just throw it onto the end, assuming you're not in the glitch. But for pop, you can just pop off one. So push takes in an argument. Push always takes in an argument, right? Needs argument. If you don't add an argument, what's it going to push into the array, right? but you'll see a lot of people will forget that. Pop, empty, right? Because there's no point of putting anything in there.
If methods are chainable, then can you do this pop, like
Ah.
onto that line?
Great question. So, what Samantha asks is, she says, "Hey, if methods are chainable, can't we do fruits.pop.pop?" Okay. So, not all methods are chainable. Some are not, and here's the reason why this won't work. So, console.log fruits.pop. What do we expect to see when I do console.log fruits.pop? Without running it, talk to your neighbor for 10 seconds and take a guess what you think it might be. All right, glad you guys want to hear my voice. What were some of our guesses? What do we think? Yeah? Okay, whatever will be popped off. Any other guesses? Henry?
I think it's going to turn it into basically the amount of strings you have, and you just take away one, so it's going to pop it.
Okay, so it's going to return the number of elements, just like push. Interesting. Rafid?
I think it's going to do the opposite. It's going to take up the last index, take out everything except for the last one.
So it's still going to return an array?
It's going to just like, if you put this one, it's going to take out the blueberry, banana, and kiwi, just do cherry.
As an array or as a string? Oh, yeah, that's what Samantha said. All right, cool. So we got two ideas. Let's see. Team number. All right. Team last element that was popped off. All right. Yeah, so we're pretty split. That's exciting. Let's see what it is. It is. It is the popped element. Okay. So that's kind of weird, right? This one makes a lot more sense than the other one. This one's kind of nice because you could pop off an element and then at that second you can still capture that element. So I could pop it off and save it as a variable, do stuff with it, and then push it back in or whatever I want. Push, however, right, returning the length is kind of like, what am I going to do that for? So, to get back to Samantha's question, does string have a pop method? No, string does not have a pop method. So because string doesn't have a pop method, if we tried to chain these, we would get fruits.pop. Well, if this returned an array, we could chain it. But since this was going to be returning the element, we're in trouble here because it's going to go .pop. So it's going to try to call pop on a string, and so it's going to freak out. If we read the error, it's going to say pop.pop. Pop is not a function because pop is not in a function on strings. Does that make sense? What about if I had an array here and had cat in here? Then what would happen? Jay?
Possibly could pop it because it'll return the last element, which is an array,
Okay.
and then it could pop the array.
And then it could pop the array? That sounds like sound logic. Yeah, right? But we shouldn't chain pops because that's not reliable. That's the point. So yeah, I could hack around it, right? Because it's returning the last element, so if my last element is an array, then hey, I can do it, right? I could also add an array to the end of this one. I could just keep doing it because I've chained or because I just keep returning arrays. But if I return anything other than an array, it's gonna freak out. So better to plan differently. Make sense? Okay. So let's get rid of that chained pop.
We gotta close the,
Sorry?
we gotta close the.
Oh, thank you. I got over ambitious in my erasing. Yeah, Rob.
So why did we get the array of blueberry, banana, kiwi without the cherry? Why did we get just the cherry again?
Because we are console logging fruits.pop. So on the next line, on line 16, I'm going to console log fruits. And we'll have two things that should print to the screen. Cherry, which is coming from line 14, and then our array without cherry, which is coming on line 16.
So the console log prior to that removed cherry, and then the reconsole log showed it.
Yes, sort of. So the console log did not remove anything. It only prints things to the screen.
Prints.
Fruits.pop is what did the removal. Any other questions on that? So, okay. So I'm going to just do fruits.pop here. Comma don't. This one. Okay. Am I going to fix what? Okay. All right, so questions on push or pop? Yeah.
There's no way it could pop or something that's like in the middle.
Not pop, no. You cannot. There are different methods to do things like that that we will not be learning about right now. Good question, though. I like that, right? I like that curiosity. We always want to be able to do more. But this is it for this tool, right? This is the hammer. We can just bang things. Okay, so push or pop. Think about pushing it into the end of the array and shaking a wine bottle and popping it off. All right, that's how I remember it. Maybe that helps for you. Unshift and shift. So these are the opposites, somewhat, opposite side of push and pop. So push connects to unshift, like pop connects to shift. Let's see what I mean by that. I don't want to add something to the end of the array. Okay? So instead, I'd like to add something to the front of the array. I say fruits dot unshift, and we can add, what do we want to add? Mango, great. And when we print fruits now, they've got mango in the front, right? Unshift also, its return value will be the length of the array. You'll essentially never need that. You'll really, I've never used the return value of a push ever. You probably won't. You probably will use pop, the return value of pop though sometime at some point. It's a lot more use. Any questions on unshift? It works the exact same way as push, it's just doing it in the front of the array. All right. Shift is the opposite of pop. So if I say fruits.shift, What do we expect? Yeah, we're gonna. Right. So what am I gonna log on line 19? Yeah, banana, kiwi, cherry. I heard it. Whoops. There you go. Right. Banana, kiwi, cherry. If I were to console log fruits.shift. All right. Blueberry. Right? So it's just the inverse. Now, a lot of people have trouble remembering which one is shift and unshift. Maybe you have that, maybe you don't. The way, yeah, go on. Yeah, they're not going to rename it. Sorry. That's definitely not going to happen. Here. So the way I remember it is I can easily remember push and pop because I've got the push image and the wine bottle popping, right? Now, if I can remember these two, I can remember these two. Why? Because push has a U in it and unshift has a U in it. So the two ones with the U's go inside. So if I know push and pop, then I can know unshift by remembering that it also has a U. And if I know unshift, I then know shift. That's how I remember them. I do not mess them up very often. Hopefully that helps you. If it doesn't, maybe you've got a different memory. Maybe you just remember it. I don't know. You got like the steel trap of a memory. Or maybe you've got a different mnemonic device or trick. If you do, like, share it, slack it out. It will help other people. This has worked for me. Kiara, I saw you had a question. Oh, cool, nice. Rob, you have a half question?
So is unshift the same as push in the way that we can add more than one element to the front?
Yeah, awesome. Great question. So Rob's question is, hey, can we add more arguments than just one here as well? So I can say mango and hearts of palm, right? And when I run it, we get mango, hearts of palm, blueberry, banana, kiwi, cherry. So totally works the same. Great question. Doug.
Can we
Can we unshift into a specific index?
Yeah.
Good question. No. Push and pop, limited to the end. Shift and unshift, limited to the beginning. If you want to do things on the inside of the array, you have to use something called splice, which we'll learn later. Right, we still have the ability to change things at an index, right? Let's not forget, I can still do fruits at the index of 1 is equal to candy corn. And I could still throw candy corn in there, yeah? Great. Great cup.
Shift can only remove one pumpkin.
You nailed it, yeah. So shift can only remove one element at a time as well. Great question. All right, we feeling pretty good? All right, let's put it to the test. All right, so let's play the game. So we got fruits, blueberry, banana. So I'm going to say fruits.pop, fruits.unshift, and I'll say cat and dog, and then I'll say fruits.shift, fruits.push, cow. Whoops. I think I should have done animals. They're so much easier than the fruits. And then I'll do fruits.shift, and then fruits.push, snake. Okay, so take a minute with your, one more thing in here. I will then do fruits at 1 is equal to the balloon. Okay, great. So take a minute with your partner. Don't, without running it, right? Because that would be lightning quick. Try to think it through and tell me what is going to log at the end there.
Cherries coming off. And then we're unshifting, so we're adding blueberry bananas. And then we're adding shift between the kiwis, so we've got cat blueberry bananas. Now we're pushing. So now we've got cat dog blueberry banana. I'm sorry, now we're so now
he started off working with me. Yeah.
That is some good coffee. All right, clap your hands once if you can hear my voice. Clap your hands twice if you can hear my voice. All right, how do we think we did? Yay? Nay? Okay. All right, cool. So let's go through it. So fruits.pop, what's that going to give us? That's going to give us, yeah, so after this line, it's going to have blueberry, banana, and kiwi, yes? Okay. Then we're unshifting. So we're going to take all of these. We're going to be adding cat and dog, yes? Okay. Then we shift. So we're going to be left with, what's that going to do? Yeah? Going to take off the front. Then we're pushing in cow, yeah? Okay. So then we've got cow. This is just kind of a rough outline. Then we shift. What's that going to do? Of course we're going to take on the dog. No way the dog's getting into the final answer. Right? Balloon, what's that going to do?
It's gonna replace banana.
Okay, I agree. So this is going to change this to balloon.
It's gonna change blueberry.
So
Remember, we added dog.
oh, so we got to keep following the lines here, right? I'm pretty sure I'm getting it right. Could be wrong. But we pushed in cow, and then we shifted. So after we shifted, got rid of dog. So when we go to the first index, we got to change banana. Then we're pushing in, it looks like snake. So, snake. We happy with this? Do we think? All right, let's give it a shot. Blueberry balloon, kiwi, cow, snake. We got it. How did we do now? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. How do we do? Okay, so most of us did quite well. Okay, who wants to play again?
Question for you.
Yes.
If you go back down real quick,
Sure.
the answer, why were some of them in parentheses and the ones that were pushed were not in the parentheses?
Are you talking about here? On my comments there?
Yeah, your commentary. Okay. No, forgive me. I thought that was, never mind.
Okay, the comments were just like very loose. So I wouldn't have to repeat
it was a
that.
return that we were getting. I was looking wrong.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, let's play again. Okay, so who's singing that? That's great. Okay, let's start off with this string. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go string dot slice 3. Then I'm going to go I'm going to split this string. I'm then going to do also, you should be aware that if you just slice an array, it's not modifying. So there might be a little trick in there. Length. And then we can do array 0 equals cat. And then we'll say array dot push, and we'll push in an array that says hello Dolly. Array dot push 1, 2, 3. Array dot pop. array dot unshift. Good luck. Yeah, we can do this. We can do this. And then we'll say array equals array dot slice at 1. Okay, and then we'll just console log array. All right, we'll try that. Oh, and I want us to console log the string. Okay, so I want to know everything that will console log. Okay, so there's 3 console logs in there. No, it's not. We can do it. Is it too small? Too small? There you go. It's a little bigger.
Is there anything above that you don't just leave? Okay, that's the beginning.
Some functions will take information and others won't. So they don't take information. Push means it, right? It's like, hey, if you want me to add it, so that's why that. Yeah, it is really
This is what the second one, do you know why we use the word it's just use?
Yeah, because, so you're going from dog
What's sliced away?
it's cutting,
Okay, so you're just saying start index from select.
yes, yes, I'm ready to.
I think when you think about it, that's like I said, it's going to be because I feel like if it's sliced, then you yeah, the wrinkles still is not there.
Index. If I had index 3, that would take me to the D. If I could keep the D.
Yeah, it's basically
So it's literally going index 0, 1, 2. Okay, but I delete that last one. Okay, so my 0 is actually my 1. So I'm using NY space, which is 0, 1, 2, but it's actually 1, 2, 3 starting at 1. You know what I mean? Yeah. Got it. Okay.
I do. I just want to I understand about
What do we think? What do we think? What are we gonna
Which one you got? You got a lot of people.
What's the first console?
First console login.
Okay. What's the second?
Hesitation. The second login is there was my friend,
Now I did the same, but it's still separate characters and cousins.
Question, line 30. What happened to line 30? Nothing, it stays the same, right? Well, that's speed.
I'm sorry for the whole
That's a 132. I get undefined.
So one that has
I know, like, the term Hello Dolly is a reference to something. I don't know what it's talking about.
and then you're gonna push 1, 2, 3. So at the end, 1, 2.
All right, so if you're already done, I also want you to tell me what the array.length would be.
I was saying 1, 6, 2, 1. Good luck. Good luck. On Karen's hands. That was not. Good.
Right. Yeah.
From 1, so if you take away the 1, it's going to be 1, but it's going to be here.
All right, clap your hands once if you can hear my voice. Clap your hands twice if you can hear my voice. All right, this one was hard, right? How do we think we did? Yay? Nay? Okay. Yeah, okay, we got some people are like, yeah, after last time. Okay, let's do it. So this line's pretty easy. We already have my dog has fleas. That one's just reading. So what's going to happen on line 29? Can somebody share what they get and what they think is going to happen? Rafid?
So it's gonna take out, it's gonna mark everything after the third index, so it's gonna say dog has fleas.
So after / including the third index, right? Okay. We agree? Okay, so it's going to say dog has fleas, like they do. Okay, great. Yeah, well, maybe. Okay, line 30. Who can tell me what's going on line 30? Okay, Marvin, let's do it.
We're going to be splitting spaces, so we're going to be this string to array. So it's going to be dog, comma, has,
Okay. Agree, disagree? Okay, cool. What's going on this line? Who can tell me what's going on here? Jay, you want? Yeah, let's do it.
nothing's going to happen because we don't have element at 5.
Okay, yeah, so what would this actually return? Fowler? Yeah, right, so this would give us an empty array had we also then done anything with it, right? This just happened in the wind. So nothing actually, we didn't reassign the value of our array. Slice is not mutating. So this was a little bit of a red herring, yeah? So we're going to continue on with this being like the information that we care about. Okay, so we hit our console log here. What do we got? 3? Yeah, I think so. Then we go to this line. What happens here? Yeah, Shia?
So if you don't have the brackets around the words, are you essentially wrong?
What?
On line, is that 20, 30?
Right here?
Yeah, if we don't, the output, where you put in the notes, yeah, if we don't have the brackets around dog has fleas, is that wrong?
Oh, I got you. Well, wrong in which sense? Like, if you know it's an array, it's okay however you kept your notes. The brackets here indicate that it's an array. So as long as you understand and know that it's an array, it's fine. It's just a test on understanding. It's not really like you can't get marked as wrong. It's like, but if you were to actually see what the array looks like, it would definitely need to have those brackets. Does that help? Yeah. No. Okay. What can I? Let's get to the bottom of it.
Like my answer, I didn't have the brackets, but it showed the brackets around it and separated.
Oh, well, yeah. Then you would need to have the brackets. Yeah.
So that's right, that's what I was saying. Well, because it's not code, what you write, it's comments. Yeah, so you can, I mean,
You
it's
can,
easy, it's kind of.
it's very flexible in your comments. Eric?
Yeah, so in line 31, instead of using a zero as with space, you use like dog. You're getting the space as an array value.
On line 31?
Yeah.
Well, if I console log this line, it would just
30, line 30.
30. What about it?
STR, instead of using STR as with in space, you get like dog or pass.
Oh,
And
yeah. Then it would.
after that, you're getting the space as another value.
If I did it on the word dog instead of a space,
Yeah.
then yeah, it would split. We would have my space and then another array that says has space fleas, another element in the array. Run it, definitely run it, and it'll be very clear.
I have a question.
Yep.
Which one are we up to though? Because I have a question about 34.
We're still on 33, so just hang tight. Okay, so what do we expect from 33? Okay, so we're changing the first element in the array to my cat, and we have has fleas. Yes?
Yeah.
Thank you, Brett. Okay, then we are pushing in this array that has two elements called Hello Dolly. Hello Dolly. What is our expected result from this? Someone want to tell me? Let's go with Rob.
It would be my cat, comma, has, comma, please, comma, and then its own special brackets, you'll have hello, comma, Dolly.
Okay, like this, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, great. Right? An array can have arrays as elements, right? It can have anything. That's how we did that change pop. All right, so now we have my cat has fleas and another array that says hello Dolly. Okay? Does that answer your question, Samantha? Yeah? Okay. All right, so then we hit line 35. What are we expecting here? Is anyone different? Okay, Henry.
You have both my cat.
Yeah?
Basically the same thing that occurs in that line.
Okay.
And at the end you have 1, comma, 2, comma, 3. No. Yeah.
Right here?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Are we still doing okay? Yeah? Cool. Then we have pop. What's happening there? Yeah, Maria. We're going to take away the 3. I dig. Okay. Don't forget that the return value of pop though actually would be the 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now it says unshift.
So how do you
Yeah. So who wants it? Crystal, what do we do?
You activate the front, so you're gonna do the first one. So you turn up, and then you'll do my pop.
Good luck. And then all of this stuff, yeah? Okay. One too many. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't we do this array equals array.slice? Yeah, Neilbrook? Awesome. So he says, since we're going to start at index 1 and slice, and we're doing reassignment, whoa, what's going on here? That we're going to just end up with my cat has fleas. Hello, Donnie. So we're removing the good luck. I'm on board with that. Yeah, Rob? Question?
Why is it moving? Why is it moving good luck? Why is it just moving good and keeping luck? Is good luck considered a grouping, a single element?
Good, exactly.
It's
Good
single
luck is
element,
considered a
Yeah.
single element, right? The space within strings is irrelevant because we're not in the string world of words. So just each thing separated by the comma in the array is an individual element. It's a great clarification. Okay, so if I console log the array, what am I going to get? This line, right? Okay, and what about if I console log the string? What do we expect? What is it? Dog has fleas. Okay. And what's the length of this array? 6. Right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Questions on that? Right? We don't count the elements inside Hello Dolly because those are still inside that one array, which is its own. Right? That array has a length of 2, but that array is still a singular concept. So let's give her a whirl. Now let's give her a whirl. My cat has fleas. Hello Dolly. 1, 2. Dog has fleas, and 6. So way to go. How do we do? Yay? Nay? Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, Doug?
Should we try to visualize this? Would Hello Dolly be like 2-dimensional?
Yeah, this is a little bit of a 2-dimensional array, yeah. We're going to talk about those again later today, where we talk about matrices and multi-dimensional arrays. But you totally can have, right? We can have an array with arrays in here, right? As its elements. Right? This is just like, this could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? This array outside has a length of 3. Each element inside of it is also happens to be an array with a length of 3. Right? So we can access it, but we're going to go more into that later. But yeah, this is a 2-dimensional array. That's a great instinct. Yeah, Rob.
Back to 38 again. Where array equals array dot slice 1.
Yes.
If that is an index, why did we remove the first element, which is an index of 0?
Because we start, right? Slice takes in 2 arguments. The second one, which is optional. The first argument is the starting index, inclusive. The second argument is where it ends, exclusive. So if we want to start at index 1, we would start at 0, 1, my cat.
Okay. We're just counting everything this way.
Mm-hmm. Any other final questions? Speak now or forever hold your Screws? Oh, here we go. I see it.
Okay, so inclusive and exclusive. He said that once when we have the number identified, so for example, if it's a 3, we'll take away 0, 1, 2, and include 3,
Yeah, if that's a starting argument, yes.
and then whatever that number is, it'll end at that.
Correct. Excellent. Okay, I highly, highly encourage you guys to continue to play with these things. All right, especially if it's not natural yet, do it. You can write in, like, right down here. I hate that I have to type in clear every time. So you can write node, enter, and then you have a little playground here. So you can write string like let cat equal snake, right? And you can then do things with cat dot slice 1 to 3, right? And you can see it as it prints it out. You can play with things in here. It's a quick little playground. To exit that, you can just do Control-C a couple times, and you're out. It's a great way to how does that happen again? I remember, so when we were looking at line 31, or right at slice of 5, and Jay was like, there's some kind of trick here because there's not 5 elements, there's only 3 elements in the array. And it was like, okay, but I know we said not to run it, but we didn't want you to run the whole thing. But if you don't know the behavior of what's going to happen, right, you got to run it. So what did we do? We went to node. We just did a quick array where we did 3 elements, and we did dot slice, and we said 5. We hit enter, and it was like, well, I misspelled it, right? So Jay did not misspell it. And we went like, okay, empty array, and then we were able to keep moving. All right, so this is a great little playground. Get comfortable on that. Any other questions? All right, great. So Celine posted pairs for today. You can take a little break if you want, but then 5 minutes or so, and then start working on your array lab. We'll take lunch at 1, be back by 2, and then we'll keep working for a bit and then continue. Okay? Yeah. Okay, hang on. I'm going to stop this stream.